This is an absolute heist for the New York Jets, as after there has been a lot of talk surrounding what the Jets are going to do on draft day, now, according to an NFL Insider, we see a completely different story that would help out Jets quarterback Justin Fields so much, along with the rest of the Jets, in what's an absolute heist of a deal, and we're going to break all of this down. What's up, guys? Welcome back to Jets Digest. It's Chris and Matt here, and we're going to jump right into things as always. And guys, if I'm being honest, Matt can't read, so he doesn't know that we only have 26.6% of our viewers subscribe to Jets Digest. So let's get those numbers up so I don't have to tell Matt the truth that will just make him sad, because he's not going to be able to figure it out on his own. So let's jump into the video, guys. We have a lot to discuss in the New York Jets. There's a lot of talk, Matt, about the NFL draft and what the New York Jets are going to do. There's a few different ways they're going to go, and a lot of Jets fans have called for the Jets to pick the tight end Tyler Warren in the NFL draft in 2024 or 2025. Keep screwing up, but we're going to push forwards. And, well, now we've gotten a completely new storyline, as the New York Jets have now, by Bill Barnwell, NFL Insider, have been linked to what would be a steal? What would be a pure steal for the New York Jets? As Bill Barnwell said that the New York Jets should trade for Kyle Pitts, saying outside of the offensive lineman for the Atlanta Falcons, this is a potential landing spot for front seven defenders such as Mason Graham, Jalen Walker, Jihad Campbell, and Mike Green, all of whom would be interesting, who the Panthers would have interested at number 8 and the Saints at number 9. The Falcons are perennially desperate for pass rushing help and would surely love to beat their NFC South rivals to the punch for Walker or Green. And the official trade, Matt, the official trade that this would be the New York Jets would trade their 7th overall pick and in return get the 15th pick from the Falcons, along with a 2026 third and Kyle Pitts. So obviously just an absolute heist for the Jets, being able to move 8 slots down, get a 2026 third and Kyle Pitts, so the Atlanta Falcons can have their pick of the litter when it comes down to frontline defenders, something the team is absolutely desperate for. So it makes sense why the Falcons would do it. And, I mean, for the Jets, yeah, you're taking on Kyle Pitts' contract, but you're also getting Kyle Pitts, who solves your tight end problem, and you get a chance to really rebuild up a guy who was an all-time great prospect at the tight end position, while also still picking 15th overall.
So right now, when we're looking at the draft, there are 2 positions that everyone feels like the New York Jets are going to take. Is that going to be the right tackle, or is that going to be the tight end? If they made this trade that this article is suggesting, the New York Jets would be able to attack both positions in the draft with the first round of the draft. We've talked about how we want the New York Jets to trade down with that 7th overall pick, talking about how we like some of the value later on in the first round if the New York Jets can pick up some more draft capital for the future. Now, I love this trade. While Kyle Pitts and a 3rd round pick isn't as strong of a return as a 1st round pick would be, the 15th overall pick isn't trading that far down in the draft. Yes, it takes you out of the top tackle range, but I really think a guy like Kelvin Banks might be there at 15, or Simmons out of Ohio State might be there at 15 as well. Really good tackle potential guys could still be there later in that first round. And you get a guy like Kyle Pitts, who, yes, he didn't live up to the lofty expectations that were set for him when he was picked 4th overall by the Atlanta Falcons in 2021. Now, is he a bad player? No, he's not a bad player. He definitely has some more runway to go. The Falcons wasted a couple of his years with Desmond Ridder playing quarterback. Then last year he had Kirk Cousins, who looked very poor, coming off his Achilles injury. And then, of course, after he settled in a little bit, just never really found Kyle Pitts. Now, people are always talking about, is it the scheme or is it Kyle Pitts? It definitely has to be a little bit of both at this point. Yes, Kyle Pitts had one of the most impactful rookie seasons that we've ever seen out of a tight end, while playing with borderline Hall of Fame quarterback Matt Ryan as a rookie. Now, that was impressive, but he's steadily gotten worse every single year. With, if you're looking at yards wise, if you're looking at PFF grades, it's pretty funny. They show it's like a staircase going down every single year. He just gets a little bit worse and a little bit worse according to them. But I do think Kyle Pitts would be a dramatic upgrade on who the New York Jets have in the tight end room right now. And while I do believe Tyler Warren, if the New York Jets were going to go ahead and select him at 7, I believe he would be better than Kyle Pitts. But I would love to see Kyle Pitts combined with that right tackle. So we get they really good young offensive line that we're looking for, and we still get another dynamic playmaker to add to Kyle Pitts. And if you want to take another tight end later in the draft, you still can, because you can take a guy to start at tight end and move Kyle Pitts to like a slot wide receiver type role, or just run two tight end sets. Kyle Pitts right now, he's playing under that fifth-year option that the Atlanta Falcons picked up. So he would be under contract for 1 year if the New York Jets were to acquire him. So it doesn't hurt you too much long term. I think this trade is, honestly, I think it's a little bit unrealistic. I saw DraftKings suggest this exact trade as well. I can't really see a world why the Atlanta Falcons would want to do it, but just like you said, if maybe like Abdul Carter fell down to 7, which feels impossible, but crazier things have happened in the NFL draft. If that happens, then maybe the Atlanta Falcons would want to set up a package like this to go up and go get him. But if Abdul Carter was there at 7, would the New York Jets trade out? I don't think so. So I think this trade is a little bit unrealistic, but should this actually be on the table, I think it would be a home run for our team.
Okay, so I do have some stuff to say, but very quickly, now I just want to ask you the question. Abdul Carter's available at 7. The Falcons offer this exact trade. What are you doing?
I think I'm probably taking Abdul Carter.
I love
the package, but I think I got to go ahead and take Carter.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, though, is like Abdul Carter, we already know that he's sustained an injury that's not going to impact his draft stock whatsoever. And I would love Kyle Pitts. As you said, I would rather the Jets get that 15th pick and attack both sides. Yeah, maybe you're not getting as good of a tackle prospect, and you're not getting a guy who everyone at this point would rather have these, at the very bare minimum, the 4-year contract of Tyler Warren, which is really 5 with that 5th-year option, depending on when he would sign an extension. Imagining that he pans out the way he's expected to pan out. Then Kyle Pitts on a 1-year deal, effectively. So I would still go with taking the value at 2 different areas. As we said on a recent video, tight end is a luxury pick after all, and the Jets, they didn't get the 7th overall pick because of a trade. They have it because they had the 7th worst record in football. So they kind of don't have the ability to make luxury picks. And just because some of the comments were talking about luxury picks, to very quickly highlight what a luxury pick is, it's not picking someone in the trenches. That is picking a guy who's not a flashy position. Tight end's a flashier position because they're receiving the ball. So it's that. It's also tight end is effectively less important than tackle positions. If you don't believe me, look at the money that each of those guys get paid. Take a look at the best tight end in football, or the highest paid tight end in football.
Chris, do you know who the highest paid tight end in football is?
Oh, because it just happened, and I was about to jump into that. So, yes, okay. I do. Because as Adam Schefter tweeted out, the Arizona Cardinals are making Pro Bowl tight end Trey McBride, better than Laporta, the highest paid tight end in NFL history with a 4-year, $76 million extension, according to his agents. The deal includes $43 million guaranteed and $19 average annual value, the highest ever for an NFL tight end. So you're looking at that, $19 million per year. Yeah, it's a lot. Don't get me wrong. Do I want that money? Of course. But tackles get bigger deals. It's just the way of the sport because it's a more valuable position. All that being said, this contract extension by McBride does make it interesting what we're going to see out of Kyle Pitts because, as you mentioned, he's dropped off worse and worse. I mean, the worst success percentage of his career with receiving the ball. He did have 4 touchdowns this season, which is the most in his history, but he started 15 to 17 games, same thing as last year, got less targets than ever, or average targets, I should say, because he only played 10 games in 2022, which did mess with his stats, had less yards than every season but the 2022 season where he missed some time due to the injuries. But after that year where he had over 1,000 receiving yards and 15 yards per reception, because no longer having Matt Ryan there and having just a mix of nothing nice has not helped him out at all. But Pitts, for his career, is a guy who has 2,651 yards with 13.5 yards per reception and 10 touchdowns. Look, he's an interesting player to take a chance on, and I think a change of scenery would help Kyle Pitts. It just comes down to what also do you think the Jets would have to pay him after that McBride deal? I'm not saying that McBride deal resets the market fully because McBride is damn good, and obviously Brock Bowers is going to break that record, but it's interesting to consider what Pitts would get paid.
So I think what you were trying to say was Kyle Pitts isn't going to get a league reset, a tight end market resetting contract.
No,
because
he's not.
obviously Trey McBride deserved to reset the market because he's that guy.
Uh-huh.
So, I mean, looking at who else we got Travis Kelce, Hawkinson, and Kittle are the next highest paid guys with 17, 16, 15. I don't even think he gets that much money. I think you get somewhere in the Cole Kmet. You know what? I think David Njoku, while more productive, I think that's a really good range. I think maybe a little bit lower than that. Probably like that Cole Kmet, $12.5 million. That Pat Fryermuth, $12 million. That's where I would expect trade Kyle Pitts to get signed to if he was going to sign an extension with the New York Jets. I think that is highly worth it because I mean, like the wide receivers that are making actually right now, Chris, we got to find the wide receivers making that much money because it is like the wide receivers who make that kind of money are bad. Like they're actually bad.
Mm-hmm.
So the $12 million,
Allen
those
Lazard.
were the third group of tight ends, like not even good tight ends.
Yeah.
Wide receivers making that much money. Darius Slayton, Alan Lazar's making 11, Jacoby Myers making 11, Josh Palmer with 10, Diami Brown with 10, Tutu Atwell with 10. These are wide receiver threes. And you can get what could be a top tight end in the NFL for that money. Like, come on now. This is why you don't
Yeah.
take a tight end in the first round.
Look, I like the idea of this trade, and just to take a look at some other things that Barnwell explained, especially in regards to Pitts himself and the Jets real quick. We look at what Barnwell said, saying they might be equally excited about moving on from Pitts, the Falcons obviously, who has seemingly fallen out of favor after failing to build on an impressive rookie season in 2021. On the Jets side, Jeremy Ruckert and Stone Smart are the only tight ends, so adding a 24-year-old with upside would have appealed to the new offensive coordinator in Tanner Engstrand. Pitts would be on a one-year, $10.8 million deal for 2025, but New York would have a reasonable transition to tag that option at 2026 for $13.9 million if he plays up to his potential. Now, on top of that, Barnwell also mentioned that this trade would implicitly value Pitts as being worth the number 66 overall pick in a typical draft. And then Barnwell said, I'd argue that's generous for his performance over the past 2 seasons, but he's still a former top 5 pick at a position that regularly needs development. The Jets aren't really in the market for front 7 players, but they could look towards a wide receiver or an offensive lineman at number 15 while adding a new top tight end. So look, would they even have to tag him? I feel like he wouldn't make that much money. I guess like it prevents him from
Well, no,
walking.
the thing he said was if he plays up to his potential. And
Fair,
I think
fair.
if
Yeah,
Kyle Pitts plays up to his potential, he would reset the market. So I think $13 million would be a bargain if he played up to his potential,
that's fair.
what we were expecting out of him originally, which is it's not possible anymore. But just living in a fantasy world for a second, $13 million would definitely be a great contract should he play up to his potential, which he won't.
Yeah, it's hard to imagine that at this point, but it would be interesting to see Kyle Pitts in a Jets uniform, and it would be interesting to see you learn how to read. So hopefully both those things happen. Guys, let us know what you think. Do you want to see this trade go through one more time? We'll just bring up the trade just so it's fresh in your memory for when you make that comment. Jets get the 15th overall pick, a 2026 third, and Kyle Pitts and the Falcons get the 7th overall pick. What are you doing? Yeah, you, if you are the New York Jets GM. Let us know in the comments down below. Like this video, subscribe, turn on post notifications. Have a great day. I'm just realizing that Matt subscribes to the comments, so I don't know how he's doing that because, again, he can't read. Have a great day, and go Jets.